Do you ever get overwhelmed with feedback? Not sure what to incorporate, what to throw away? If you give presentations, one of the most important, crucial elements is feedback. Now, what is your feedback filter? If you don't take the right feedback, you can actually make your own speech fizzle and flop instead of improve and get to that world-class level that we're all looking for. So first, take a quick look at a speech that I gave early on in my practice as I went towards the World Championship of Public Speaking. So I want you to see what the audience saw at that point. In the back of your brain, this tiny little thought started forcing its way to the front to be heard. And then all of a sudden that little thought said, but what if you fall on your face? What do you do when you fall on your face? Do you try and jump up quick so no one else notices? Do you think maybe it's not worth the risk? Are you more concerned with what other people will think than what you can learn from this? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, what do you do when you fall on your face? What do you expect? So that's what I did, and I got feedback from the people who were in front of me. 22 times I did that. But let me clarify, for all of us as presenters, we get feedback. And I believe we should crave feedback. But one of the things I need to clarify, there's two kinds of feedback. Number one, here's how I thought or felt as you were presenting. Everyone, I mean everyone, is qualified to give you that type of feedback. It doesn't matter what their skill level is. The second kind of feedback is, here's what you should do to get better. Now that feedback, not everyone is qualified to give. And even though I craved feedback, which is a good thing, I had a new challenge. I had so much feedback, I didn't have a filter. I didn't know how to get to what should I incorporate and what should I discard. So here's what I believe coaching looks like on a graph. If we want to get to a world-class level, world class. And let's say your speaking skill is right about here. I believe what happens is if we get coached by a qualified coach, dramatically increases our skill level on that particular presentation. I did several sessions with Mark Brown, my coach. So each time I worked with Mark, there was a dramatic increase on that speech. Now here's what happened to the speech that you just witnessed. I heard this as feedback. I was a little uncomfortable. You were down there too long. Okay, pause. That is, here's what I thought and felt. But then right after they said that, I heard, you should get up quicker because I was uncomfortable. Don't stay down so long. Oh my, that is coaching feedback. So we really need to clarify the difference between here's what I thought and felt and here's what you could do to get better. Now I trusted my coaches. I had two coaches, Mark Brown and David McElhaney. Mark helped me get closer to that world-class level every time I worked with him. But here's the danger. Had I taken the feedback directly, so if this is where I was, and now I listened to that unqualified coach, I would have taken Mark's advice, got to here, but then if I incorporated their advice directly, it would have actually hurt my presentation. So unqualified coaching, regular coaching, regular qualified coaching gets you to the higher level. Taking unqualified coaching brings you down. Here's a perfect example. A friend of mine who's a world-class speaker coach actually had a client who was very highly paid and very high profile. And this person was very coachable, which I love and impresses me a lot. but she had worked pulling this person's story out of her and showing her how to actually deliver that on stage. Spent hours and hours upon doing that. Well, then this person went home to practice in front of their spouse, and the spouse gave them some feedback and some coaching. No! Ouch! The same thing that we had on the graph happened exactly to this speaker coach, my friend. She had worked so hard to get her to the next level. The person took unqualified feedback, and it actually made her have to do more work just to get her back to where she was. So let me ask you a question. Would you go to someone who's been divorced 7 times to get advice on relationships? Would you get advice from someone who can barely pay their bills on what to do to improve your finances? No! So be careful who you go to. Help you develop your own filter. Go to a qualified coach and ask them why. When they say to incorporate this or to discard this, ask why. Because that why means a clue to you on what you need to do to improve your thinking to get yourself to a higher level so you can develop your own feedback filter. So check this out. After I won the World Championship speech, I was invited to give that same presentation at NSA, the National Speakers Association. So let's take a look at what that moment turned into.
And then I sat there just like you and I thought, hey, wait a minute, that could be me sometime. And then another thought, from the depths of your brain, started forcing its way forward through the enthusiasm until finally that thought shouted, yeah, Darren, great idea, but what if you... fall on your face? What do you do when you fall on your face? Do you jump right up and hope no one noticed? Are you more concerned with what other people will think than what you can learn from this? Is this where the horse did it? Madam Conference Chair, fellow fallers, and the people way in the back, ouch! Did you feel I stayed down there too long? Have you ever stayed down too long?
So if you want to take your presentations to a world-class level, remember, we need to crave feedback. But clarify, is it feedback? Here's how I thought and felt, which everyone can give you. Or coaching feedback. Here's what you could do to get better. Get a qualified coach and take your speaking to a world-class level. Filter your feedback. So if you'd like to take your presentations to a world-class level and spend quality time learning from some of the best speaker coaches in the world, check out World Champions Edge. Just go to www.worldchampionsedge.com and check out e-critiques. Did you know that for a very low price, you can get world-class feedback in the form of what we call an e-critique on your specific presentation? Check out the e-critiques on World Champions Edge.